All right, today we're mapping out the whole world of AWS security, and our guide for this tour is the Identity and Access Management Service. You know it as IAM. By the end of this, you're going to have a really clear path to locking down your cloud environment. So let's get started. This is it. This is the big question, right? Your cloud account is basically a digital vault. It's holding your apps, your data, your company's crown jewels. So who holds the keys? Who can actually get in, and what can they do once they're inside? Answering this is step one on our security quest. And our quest really begins with the absolute basics, the building blocks of identity. Before we can even think about giving out permissions, we have to figure out who we're giving them to. It's like defining the characters in our security story. Now in AWS, that who is called an IAM identity. This could be a person, like a developer on your team, or a whole group of people, like the entire finance department. It can even be a role that an application uses to do its job. So your first move is to create these identities over in the IAM Identity Center. So you have an identity. Now what? Well, you have to prove it's actually you. For us humans, that's usually a password. But the real power, and frankly the real risk, is with access keys. These keys let applications talk directly to other AWS services, and you have to guard them fiercely. I'm serious. A leaked key is like giving a stranger a master key to your entire building. And that's exactly why multi-factor authentication, MFA, is completely non-negotiable. It is that critical second layer of protection, kind of like a bank vault door, for all your sign-ins. Okay, so we've figured out who can get in and how they prove it. Now for the next big piece. What can they do once they're inside? This is where we get into mastering permissions with IAM policies. Look, policies aren't just suggestions. They are the literal rulebook for your AWS account, and they're written in a language called JSON. Every single action is either allowed or denied by one of these policies. And if you get this wrong, say you grant permissions that are way too broad, you could accidentally let a junior developer delete your entire production database. Yeah, that's why getting a handle on policies is so critical. Writing these rules might sound a little intimidating, but AWS gives you a really powerful toolkit to work with. You can learn the actual language, you can study examples of common policies, and you can even use the policy generator to help build your own rules. But the best part? The policy simulator. It lets you test everything out safely before you deploy it, so you know exactly what a policy is going to do before it ever goes live. So far, we've really been focused on security inside your own account. But what happens when you need to collaborate with other people? This next level of IAM is all about how you grant access to users and services that live outside your digital walls, without, of course, wrecking your security. The key ideas here are federation and delegation. The best way to think about it is like giving a guest a temporary key card to your office. They can get into specific areas for a limited time, and they use their own company ID to do it. You never have to create a permanent employee badge for them. It's the same idea. And that's the crucial point right there. You're granting temporary, limited access, and you never ever have to create a permanent user or share those super powerful long-term secret keys. This is a massive security upgrade, because when the project's over, the access just expires. No loose ends, nothing to worry about. We've covered the theory, right? Identities, credentials, policies. Now, let's bring it all together and see how IAM really acts as the security guard for the actual AWS services that you and I use every single day. Just think about your core infrastructure for a second. Who can start or stop your EC2 virtual servers? Who can read or maybe even delete the files in your S3 storage buckets? With IAM, you control all of it. You can get so granular, you can control permissions for a single item in a DynamoDB database table. And that is the real power of IAM. You learn this one security framework, and then you can apply it across the entire vast AWS ecosystem. It's the universal lock and key for your whole cloud toolkit. So we've made it to the final stage of our journey. This is where we move beyond just knowing the rules of IAM and into the art of applying them wisely. This is really about developing a true security mindset. Because it's true, knowing the rules just isn't enough. Real security is a mindset. It's about always using the principle of least privilege, constantly watching your environment for anything unusual, and just never, ever stopping that learning process. Which brings us to a really critical question for that mindset. Let's say something does go wrong, or maybe you just need to run an audit. How in the world do you find out who accessed what and when they did it? You need a record. You need a paper trail. And that record is AWS CloudTrail. You can just think of it as the ultimate security logbook for your account. Every single API call, every action taken by any user or any service gets recorded. It gives you a complete audit trail for investigation and for compliance. It is an absolutely essential tool for accountability. And hey, your journey to mastery definitely doesn't end here. You can dive deep into the official IAM best practices, study the security pillar of the well-architected framework for more high-level strategy, or just get your hands dirty with some hands-on tutorials. The path you take from here is totally up to you. So, there you have it, a complete roadmap from the basic building blocks of identity all the way to the advanced practices of a real security pro. You now have the map to mastering AWS security. The only question left is, what are you going to secure first?